Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning. What a bright morning. What a bright morning. Please invite somebody this morning as we are going to have an amazing time as usual. It's end of year preparations. We are going to prepare ourselves. We remain with only 6 weeks. Imagine. Only 6 weeks. 2023 was like yesterday. When we got into January, it was like yesterday. But look where we are. That is how 2024 will just disappear if you are not ready. And so please do me a favor this morning and just tag a friend. Just invite a friend. Let's just gather together to just receive this amazing overview. We are going to have an overview and some introspection on how we are going to end the year. So there are several things that I'm going to touch in preparation on how you are going to really conclude this year strong, because it is imperative that you conclude this year strong. I'll tell you what, if you don't prepare the ending, okay, if you don't end well, I'm telling you the truth, January will come. It doesn't matter how many prayers you make on the 31st of December. If you are not going to end well and prepare yourself on how you are going to end the year, 2024 first quarter, okay, first quarter of the year will really throw you away. So that is why, please do me a favor, let's do some greetings and just express yourself with an emoji. What is it how are you feeling this morning? So express, write an emoji of dancing, write an emoji of fired up, write an emoji of just the way you are feeling this morning. And that is just how the year or the day will respond to you. It is how you want to touch it. It's how you want to be alive to it. It is what you want to give out to it. That is how it will respond to you. So let's go. I'm just seeing a lot of greetings here. Thank you so much. I see all of you. Thank you so much, my amazing team, Rev Water and Coach Sunshine. You have just been so amazing. You always just hold the vote. For the past, days, I haven't been around. I've been traveling here and there. Even now, I'm in South Africa already. And it's just been a busy, month as it just started. It's just been busy, and I know it's going to be even more busy because there are so many targets we need to actually meet before we conclude the year. But other than that, I'm okay. Slept a few hours, less hours than I usually advise. But here I am. We are going to have an amazing time. So I see at least how many are we now? Okay, at least it's a good number. So let's go. How are you going to conclude the year? And yesterday I posted, something on my social media platforms. If you didn't get it, please, that is what I'm reviewing. I now want to talk it out so that you can really understand the importance of concluding the year strong. And so the first thing that I stated in my post, I stated about your spiritual life. Listen, you need to introspect your spiritual life. You need to critically open yourself up and really see what is going on with your spiritual life. You need to ask yourself different questions, and I'll be highlighting questions. Those that you can pick and you want to write, please just go ahead. You need to ask yourself, how have you grown? When you look at last year, okay, how are you doing in terms of reading the Word of God, praying? How often do you fast? Do you fast as a lifestyle? Do you wake up sometimes and just say, you know what, I don't feel like eating? Or you wait for the pastor to declare a fast in order for you to join in a group? Are you self-driven in longing to hear God's voice? Are you self-driven to plan on how you are going to study the Word? If you didn't do that this year, it is something I want you to document as the number one thing you would do next year. You need to be structured. How are you going to study the Word? How are you going to soak yourself in the Word? How are you going to live your spiritual life? You will need to start, getting yourself into the space where you are training your ear to hear that still small voice. How has that been your spiritual life? Let's talk about, stability. Where are you sitting? Who is your leader? Come on, this thing of you being a potted plant, that is why you are not growing. A potted plant cannot grow beyond the pot. It can't go deep into the earth because it's restricted and it has to move from one place to the other. Listen to me. If you have been moving from church to church, leader to leader, you are not stable in your life. Just know you are a potted plant. Pluck yourself out of that pot. Pluck yourself out of that pot and get rooted. Find a spiritual leader and please announce, this is my spiritual leader, and sit there. Why do you like moving up and down, checking for who is powerful? Why can't you find somebody who at least has got 60-70% of the love of God? And you can tell that by their lives that actually this person, they are serious, concerning their lives. I'm not saying stay in a church where you can even see that there's heresy. If that is where you have been this year, make a decision to move out. 2024, you've got to be serious with your life. You cannot sit in a place you are not growing. You cannot sit in a place because that is where my parents, have been going. You are not growing. It is important for you to be stable. It is important for you to find a place where you can be deeply rooted. That is how you are going to bear fruit for other people to partake, because the fruit of the Spirit will start growing by the word that you are receiving, by the leadership you are sitting under. It is important. Who is feeding you? Who's directing your spiritual life? What is going on? When you really investigate your life, are there contentions? Are you seeing a pattern? When you look at your siblings, you look at your father, you look at your uncles, is there something that is showing that, no, there's something about my family? That is what we've come to do in South Africa. We have a boot camp starting today. It is not just a place where we feel people must gather to just, no. It's a place where we want to get people to really interrogate themselves, to open up their eyes and see, who am I? Where am I coming from? Who were my parents? What is it that is prevalent in our family? What is our legacy? What have we been called to do here on earth? Are we leaders in a particular arena of our lives? Are we naturally business people? What is it that I'm supposed to partake or have been displaced out of the land of my inheritance? Spiritual life. Very important. If you are not stable in your spiritual life, I'm telling you the truth, even if you really get educated in your career, if your foundation is shaking, it doesn't matter how so educated you are going to be empty. This is why I think you've heard celebrities, people with a lot of money, but they are empty, and you hear somebody has committed suicide. Because it's not really about just money. Money is a result. But then, who are you? Your spiritual life, you need to take time. If you really don't know how to go about it, purchase one of my books, Transitioning to the Courts of Heaven. There are a lot of interrogating questions there that will help you to get stable. All right, spiritual life again. What is your offering? When you go to church, what have you been giving to God? You need to, last year, the other year, you were giving 20 rands, 20 kwacha, 5 rands. That is what you were giving. Last year, same. This year, same. You are not growing. Do you know there's a time you declare, as you be entering 2024, you need to declare that this is my offering. I'll be giving not less than this amount. Tell yourself, I can never give not less than $100. I can never give not less than 100 rands, 100 kwacha. You've got to grow in the way, your relationship with God. It is your relationship that causes you to want to give more and more, and you can never outgive. So if you are not growing, even in your giving, you are not growing in that area, just know your spiritual life is not growing, because there is a certain sense that you feel, a sense of responsibility for you to just express how much you love him. An expression of love moves you to actually give more and more. What are you giving to the Lord? So that is roughly about your spiritual life. I want us to move to the next point. What has been happening to your economic life? What is going on? How many streams of income have you produced this year? You set out some goals. What is going on? You can never have two streams of income that are not really meeting up with what you want. Okay? For example, you've seen that there's two streams of income, you are not really meeting up the target. You are failing to pay rent, or you are failing to buy land, or you have certain things you can't meet. Okay? Now, it is insanity. Listen, it is insanity for you to think these same two streams of income will change tomorrow and they will change your financial status. It's insanity. That is why you've got to grow streams of income that have to still feed into your major. It shouldn't take you too away from your inherent gift. Something that is so difficult for you to do, something that will expose your failure. That is why you've got to see what is it that I need to do in order for me to increase my income. Listen, it is not going to change anything by you complaining how the economy has become. Like, for example, in our country, money has become so scarce. Now, listen, you can really sit on Facebook and really talk about HH and say what you want to say, because now Rand has shot up. There was a time when it even dropped down, down, down. I was even boasting. Many times I come to South Africa, I'm like, oh, our kwacha is even stronger than you. Now it's gone. Now, it would be insanity for me to keep on complaining. I have to create, extra income in order for me. So either I cut off certain expenses or I increase the income, because expenditure, if I continue with the same expenditure, then I'm not really thinking properly. And that is why this year, as you are concluding the year, you know why you are broke? Because you are not critically looking at what is coming in and what is going out. You've continued the same habits, meanwhile, fuel has shot up. Same habits, meanwhile, bread has shot up. Transportation has shot up, but you've got the same spending habits, but you are not increasing your income. This time, sit down, we've got 6 weeks to go. Are you going to cut on certain expenses, or are you going to increase your income? What are you going to do? What is it that is new that you are going to add? Okay, you are going to add. You know what I'm doing? I am working tirelessly. I came with my laptop wherever I am. I take a chance on the plane. Okay, I take a chance on the plane to actually, take some time to go through my book. It's an extra, apart from it bringing out, my greatness and, to bless other people and so on and so forth. It is going to be an extra income. That is why I've gotten so serious. I am on the head of my editor. I need the cover, because I've seen that at the rate I'm going, the income is depleted. Okay, so what other stream of income should I quickly, so that is pushing me? Okay, that is really giving me a certain push for me to keep moving, for me to keep doing the things that I am supposed to be doing. That is my encouragement to you. What extra thing are you going to do? Also, look at the next month that is coming. Listen to me. There are things that you may not have to do just because everybody else is doing. You have to cut on some things or increase. So tell me right now in the chat, what new thing are you going to start doing? I've told you what I've started. I need to complete that book. What new thing are you going to start? Don't wait until January, because when you wait until January, you are late. January is just a month to prepare us. To God, it's just an ordinary month. So what are you going to do before we end the year that has to bring in extra income when you are leaping into 2024? What are you going to do? How are you going to conclude the year? What is it that you are going to start that you have been procrastinating? That is economic life. How has it been? Do assessment areas that you see you were just overbuying things, you were overspending, you were all those lapses. You need to work on them. 2024 is just another year. If you don't change certain habits, you will still remain poor. You will still remain poor. So there are certain things you need to interrogate, that you need to look at. What is it that you are going to do? There are a number of things that I have stopped doing because I have what I call HPAs, high paying activities. And I gave an example. High paying activities that you can do and replace with those things that you can actually hire. You can hire somebody to take your children to school. Or if you want to combine it as a family habit, and maybe that is the only time you can have conversations with your children, for example, then it's all right. Continue taking your children to school because that is a quality time you want to have with your children. But if it's just a matter of driving and taking the children to school, then please find somebody, because it's not a high-paying activity. Okay, somebody else can, and you can find another quality time you can spend with your children. Issues of going for work. I have since realized having a driver is no longer it's not a luxury anymore. It is not a luxury anymore. It is actually a necessity. It is actually a necessity having a driver, because the time that you spend, okay, the time that you spend going for work, if somebody else is driving, you can actually do so much, behind that seat. You can get, that is, many times when someone is driving, that is when I get to write certain posts. I prepare in advance certain posts that I need to come and post. That is a time that I'll check emails. That is a time that I'll complete certain assignments. Another thing that I've also developed, that I've always told people, that is an economic mind. I leave home when I'm in Zambia. I leave home at 6. Because if I leave at 6:20, anytime 6:20, 6:30, I am late. Okay, because of where I stay and where the office is. There's a distance. And so I leave home early. I do my makeup at work. I have my first cup of tea at work. You know why? Because the time that you spend, like in traffic, 1 hour in traffic, I'll spend only 30 minutes. So that 30 minutes is very quality. I don't know what you do with that. So starting off, from home late may actually compromise on your economy, may compromise on your financial status. So those are things that you need to look at and see which ones are you going to concentrate on as we are concluding the year. Which things are you going to really zoom in and ensure? So there are certain, let me tell you something, there are certain groups that I'm not going to be too active in because they're irrelevant. There isn't so much value I'm getting. Even many times showing up on Facebook and just giving people, dishing out information. When I evaluate some of those things, I see, okay, what value am I gaining in sitting on the screen for 30 minutes? It takes a lot. For a man, they can just come from the shower and they sit. For us, you have to make sure that you've done your makeup. It's too much work. So you find that you can sit 30 minutes, but actually you've sat 2 hours because there is that other 1 hour, 30 minutes of preparation. All those things you need to evaluate, because where you are spending more time, okay, that is where you need to really extract some financial gain. That is where you need to extract purpose. That is where you need to extract, a fruitfulness of this purpose that God has given to you. And it has to later on get monetized. Whatever you are doing, how well are you going to monetize it? How well are you going to monetize that? That is what I would want to leave with you as you are introspecting. Please do an assessment of what it has been when it comes to your finances, how you are spending your time. What is it that you do? What is it that you need to actually just hire somebody to help you so that you can maximize your time to high-paying activities? High-paying activity, HPA. So write my HPAs. If you can write 2 HPA, 4 HPAs, that would be great. That would be great, because you've got to get another person to actually help you fulfill that HPA. So if I can sit in the morning, early in the morning, instead of me, listen to me, instead of me going into the kitchen to go and cook, if it will help me to actually hire a chef who will take time, because of my time, I have to cook things fast because there's another thing that is waiting for me. So how about hiring a chef, so that when the chef is cooking, I am busy doing something. So for example, I can be doing something that can bring in maybe 2,000 kwacha or 3,000 kwacha at that particular time. When I am when I've woken up and I'm busy on the laptop. Maybe I'm taking care of my clients. Maybe I'm writing, because I do a lot of coaching sessions and I need to write and tailor-make things. So when a chef is cooking, I have made in that hour, a chef is cooking, I've made a 2,000. Tomorrow I'll make another 2,000, maybe from the clients, which I'm going to pay my chef, because I can pay my chef 4,000 or 5,000. What will remain is now going to be mine. So that time when I'm making the 2,000s, when my chef is cooking, it is increasing my financial base. Are you feeling me? Are you getting what I'm saying? Please, if you're here with me, say yes, 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 yes. If you're listening to me this morning, because we have to be practical. We cannot show up here to give you theory. These are things that I do. These are things that I analyze. What is it that I'm supposed to do? If I can get my helper, if I can get my helper to help me wash, okay, how about investing in a washing machine? How about investing in a fryer? So there are several things that you can do so you can concentrate on HPAs. Some of you are spending too much time on junk, things that are not valuable. This is why the year is ending and you are losing out on a lot of money that you could have actually pumped into your life to change your financial status. Enough on economic life. Let's get to family. Okay, let's get to family. And let's just hit it. Listen, you can never really make it in your career and you are just investing, because I've left a lot of things in the economic life, like career development, workshops and all that. What have you been doing? Your profile, your brand and everything. I'm doing that with my mentees, though, that I'll be having conversations with, because it is important that I also keep something valuable for them. Let's move. Family. Listen, how are you going to so succeed in your life when your home is crumbling down? Please, I know we are in a busy world. And I know, if there is busy, if there is a person who is busy, or if busy was a person, my name cannot miss. But let me tell you something. Even when I'm that busy, I try my level best to really spend quality time. It may not be the very best that my family may really, really get out of me, but I try to be in their lives. I try my level best to, when I remember when I reach home, I would usually check before I leave home, actually, before I leave that time 6, it's a rule. I go to each and every room of my children to greet them, check on them, because how can you leave home? What if you've left a dead child? So I go in their room and I make it a habit to just give them a touch as I'm leaving. Like, good morning, I'm leaving. Good morning, I'm leaving. Are you okay? And everything. Just that. Then we'll continue. Now we are in a virtual space. We continue on WhatsApp. It can be a call, it can be whatever. They also understand my busy life. So sometimes, maybe when they call, it will be a missed call, but I will ensure I respond back. You need to create quality time for your family. Let's talk about your spouse, those who are married. Let me tell you something. Those you who like taking advantage of that spouse because you are exaggerating things that are happening in his life. It could be his financial status. You are busy exaggerating his financial status. Oh, he doesn't give me money. Oh, he doesn't. You are zooming too much into his lack. And you are failing to appreciate who he is in your life, the value that he has brought in your life. You are called Mrs. Madam, and you are respected because of that man. You are now looking good because you've got a wife who helps you to iron clothes, helps you choose the certain colors. You didn't even know how to dress. Now there's a woman who has stepped up to give value to you. You are even called a father because of this woman. But you just walk about as though, someone must beg for your presence. Huh? Someone must beg for your presence. I asked a question. How often do you actually make love with your spouse? How often? I no longer ask per week because it is so disappointing. There's certain answers that I receive. So it is now per month to be safe. Because per week, it's embarrassing. People look at you like you are from another planet. Like, per week? Because I don't know why when you get married, you want somebody to really work on you like you're an old Land Rover. No, he's not romancing me. No, he doesn't. Can you romance yourself? Can you prepare yourself? So how has it been? Are you cooking a recipe for infidelity? Are you cooking a recipe for infidelity? When you look at your life, when you look at the way you are behaving towards your spouse, are you cooking a recipe for adultery? Because some of you are not present. You are even your body, it has even gotten disfigured, but you are not even also bringing it. Yeah. So family life is important. Listen to me. Your attitude of, I am tired, I am this and that, that is what is causing the enemy to enter in and destroy. Value your children. Value those children. Value that spouse. Look at what is good and stop exaggerating the wrongs. Whether you conceived outside wedlock, my friend, there is a woman who is crying right now who doesn't have a child. So stop looking on how you got that child. Oh, this man didn't marry me, and you're moving around angry. You have become toxic even to those children. You are very toxic, madam. You are toxic. You need to work on you because that which you are pouring onto those children, it is not their fault that they've been born where the father is not present. So do your very best and be your very best. That which you can manage to do it and appreciate. Look at each one of them as a gift from God. So you are busy with your job, You are busy with your job, pursuing your job, pursuing your career. You are like a needle without thread. You are busy sewing your career. You are busy. You are busy. One day you will look back and there was no thread. There is no material which has been mended. It's open because your husband, your wife is disgruntled. Your children are in drugs because you've been so busy. Do you know? Do you know that when you are in the mortuary, right in the mortuary, before they even bury you, your company is already discussing on how to replace you? Already, the one who was acting has already sat on your chair now. So you, Madam Busy, Mr. Busy, who don't bother about your family. You don't care about your parents. Some of you've now gotten married and you don't, your wife or your husband is pulling you away from the family that you were once knitted to. Your mother was hardly sleeping over your life. Now she has become a competitor. That man you are married to has got parents. Why have you showed up and you want to destroy the family? These things you need to look at. How do I relate with my mother-in-law? How do I relate with my parents? How do I relate with family meetings? Madam Busy, sometimes try to attend. Be available for your niece's wedding and stop being too busy. If you can't be available because maybe the days have crashed, at least contribute. Make a decent contribution. Care for your family. Are you here? So those are the only 3 things I have given to you about introspection for the year. I've got about 7, which I'm going to sit with my team. Those who are under my mentorship, I need to grill them, and each one of them has to submit a 10-point introspection document. Then we will start together in 2024. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'm rushing to another meeting, and I just appreciate for showing up. Shalom, shalom. For those who are attending boot camp, see you this evening in South Africa. Bye-bye.